Hello everybody, this is Dr. Cole. It's Sunday evening, Easter Sunday night, April 9th. Trust everyone had a happy Easter and a good Easter break. We're now entering week 5 of Political Science 1013 for the spring 2023 term on the second 8-week schedule. Everybody, you'll be seeing this on Monday the 10th. Our exam will be Tuesday the 11th, our midterm exam, over Units 3 and 4, the mass media and the Constitution. Largely based on the class notes for Units 3 and 4, we've tried to discuss the content of the Units 3 and 4 class notes in the past couple of messages. Remember, you do also have 3 readings. You have links to those readings. Be sure to complete those readings. Contact me if you cannot access the readings. I heard from one student who was having trouble with one of the readings. So please contact me if you're having problems with that before the exam, Tuesday. There are 3 things to look at. One is an article from a Substack website regarding trust in the media worldwide in the United States compared to other countries around the world. And it turns out trust in the media in the United States is quite low. Okay? All right, so that would be tied to Unit 3 on the media. Then, connected to Unit 4 on the Constitution, we have a lengthy article by Professor Danielle Allen of Harvard University, really about race and slavery and the Constitution. And Professor Allen remarks that she counts herself an admirer of the Constitution, in spite of the way race and slavery were handled, including treatment of some of her ancestors. She herself is African American. So take a look at that. That's a fairly extensive, lengthy article. So set aside a fair amount of time to look at it if you have not done so already. Okay. Then we have a piece from the New York Times regarding an incident from a couple of years ago that students may have heard about. After Alec Baldwin was on a movie set, a weapon was to be fired as part of the movie. It turned out there was live ammo in the weapon that Alec Baldwin fired, and a life was taken. And prosecutors are trying to hold him responsible. The article you will read suggests that Alec Baldwin made a mistake talking to law enforcement immediately after the incident. He effectively waived his Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Okay, so I hope you'll find that interesting, especially if you heard anything about that incident. Many of us will recognize Alec Baldwin from various parts that he's played, including on Saturday Night Live, mimicking President Trump. In connection with that, everybody, you might want to look at the message I sent out that was entitled Unit 4 Links. Unit 4 Links include some links to videos produced by the Flex Your Rights organization. And the point of this was to be sure that students were aware of their constitutional rights in case of a run-in with law enforcement. So that material, those videos, can be viewed in connection with the article we're having you read about Alec Baldwin. And you may come back and do that after the midterm exam if you wish. Okay, everybody, so the exam will be Tuesday for 24 hours on Tuesday. 52 false and multiple choice items related to the Unit 3 and 4 class notes and those 3 articles we discussed. After that, we move on to the material for the third exam, and we begin with Unit 5 on the presidency. So let me say just a few words about the content of the Unit 5 class notes that you may want to begin looking at immediately after the midterm exam. We talk about different roles that the president is asked to play, some of which, but not all of which, are laid out in the Constitution. We talk about what the Constitution says about presidential powers, especially with regard to military action and national security. But we discuss presidential power in general as laid out in the Constitution. One thing that the Constitution discusses lays out the way in which the president is to be elected. So we talk a good bit about presidential elections in this unit, because presidential elections are different from just about any other election that we have. because the process is drawn out so long, involving the two major parties choosing their nominees, their candidates to be president, before the actual general election campaign for president is underway. It can be stretched out over a year or two, very unusual compared to other elections that we have. We talk about resources that the president can draw upon to try to influence other actors in Washington, D.C. And the example we would often use is members of Congress the president wants to influence to try to get an administration bill passed, a bill that may have been drafted in the White House or by the presidential administration, or a bill that the president supports and wants to be passed. How can the president influence members of Congress to get them to vote for that legislation? We talk about different resources the president can draw upon. And then finally, we talk about the apparatus around the president. The presidency is really far bigger than the president. It consists of perhaps several hundred people, assistants to the president, and people who make up the personnel of several bureaucratic agencies that are contained within the White House office or the executive office of the president, the National Security Council, the Budget Office, the Office of Management and Budget, and several other bureaucratic entities that answer more or less directly to the president, including the cabinet, which is the very last thing we discuss. And you will find that we emphasize the cabinet in our system doesn't really play the same role as it does in the British system. Okay? All right, so we'll look at all that after our midterm exam, which takes place Tuesday for 24 hours, 50 items, very similar in format to the first exam, multiple choice and true false, over the Unit 3 and 4 class notes and the 3 articles we've asked you to look at. Expect 10 or 15 items based on those articles. So please contact me in case of any questions, problems, or difficulties. Otherwise, good luck on the exam. Study hard. Take it easy. We'll talk to you once again a week from now at this time.